Alright guys, quick little review here for the Pittsburgh motorcycle Dolly. I've got 3 motorcycles in the garage, and under that blue tarp is a surprise for another video. But basically I needed something that would allow me to pivot my bikes around, as opposed to going forward, back, forward, back, forward, back to get the bikes out of the garage, or to stow them away neatly. So I found these Pittsburgh motorcycle Dollies online. They're only about $100. There were some concerns that these are not the easiest things in the world to push and maneuver, but I thought for $100, let's give it a try. Alright, this is the Pittsburgh motorcycle 1250 pound capacity low profile motorcycle Dolly. It can handle 1,250 pounds. It has this easy to use carriage assembly here, which holds the Dolly in place while you load your motorcycle and acts as a ramp, making it easier to load your bike. Once you load your motorcycle, it has a safety pin to help to hold it in place, and then you disengage the carriage assembly. The kickstand tray has 3 positions, so you can move it up or down depending on your motorcycle. The kickstand plate can go on either side of the Dolly, and you can load your motorcycle from the front or the back. I like the sleek red paint, it matches my motorcycles. It's made of high quality steel and seems to be very durable. I have one on my 500 plus pound Diavel 1260S. Alright, so building these is super straightforward. All you have to do is put the bolts and the washers, the nuts, all together for 5 of these wheels. Then you put the sections together and yada yada. It's very easy to do. One thing I will recommend is cutting your box like this and opening it up and resting the beds on top of the box so you don't scratch up your nice red finish. But it's super easy, so I'm not even going to do a tutorial. All right, here's the second one that I just built. Put the monster on it, rolled up pretty easily. Enough clearance with the rear tire. Unlike the one for the Diavel 1260S, where that huge 240 millimeter tire is barely squeezing in there, but does actually fit. The tire's just fitting in there. So I've got 3 bikes in the garage, and here's a surprise under that tarp. Video on that later. And I needed a solution where I could just spin the bikes around as opposed to going forward, back, forward, back. And I found these online. The brand is Pittsburgh, which I think is a Harbor Freight Tools brand. I will say that they are high quality. Solid steel frames. I will say that the Diavel is not easy to move. It's okay once you get the momentum going, but it's much better than, you know, going forward, backward all the time, getting your bikes in and out. All right, to load your motorcycle onto the Dolly, make sure that your safety pin is out. Take the rear carriage assembly and engage it. And that gives you a little bit of a ramp here and locks it in place. All right, you're also gonna make sure that your front carriage assembly is also engaged to hold the Dolly still while you load the motorcycle. There's a couple different ways to load. Make sure your bike's in line with the Dolly. Okay, put your kickstand up with a little bit of a running start. Stand down and set it down. That's one way to do it. So this Dolly can handle over 1,200 pounds. So at least for the lightweight monster, I like to guide it on by sitting on it. Gives me a little bit more control should anything happen. Put the rear safety pin back in. Again, my recommendation, hold on to the bike and disengage the carriage assembly. Do the same for the front. And your bike is all set to move. I do recommend using one of those kickstand plates. Otherwise, you're gonna scratch up your nice paint like I just did. But I only have one, and I'm using it with the Diavel 1260S. So to take your motorcycle down, first take off the rear safety pin. And I recommend holding onto the motorcycle and kicking this rear carriage assembly down with your foot, just to make sure that the bike doesn't jolt off the Dolly. Obviously you want to cover the brake. But yeah, I like it. They're nice and shiny red. They match the bikes. They are sturdy. The tray is adjustable, 3 different positions. It's pretty easy to load your bike up. And overall, once again, for $100 each, you can't really complain. One little ding I'm going to give is that we were missing a lock washer and we were also missing a nut. But luckily I do have this hex bolt set here, which has all kinds of washers and bolts, and I was able to implement a temporary solution until I get the correct parts. All right, let's see how she rolls with a monster. So it's not the easiest thing in the world. It does require a little bit of strength, a little bit of leverage. You don't want to go crazy and be pushing your bike really hard or jerking the bike because it's going to slip on the dolly. But for $100, I can't really complain. I now have the ability to swing my bikes around and organize them more neatly in my garage. I'd love to have some sort of a handle system on these so I don't have to just kind of push it around with my foot or move the bike around, or more like a combination of the two, which is what I have to do here. The Diavel has too long a wheelbase to insert the last pin lock on the end, and if I pull it too hard, the tires will just slide right on the metal. Sideways is relatively easy to push, because like I said, you don't have to worry about the bike tires slipping off the back. So when I do push the motorcycle setup here rearward, I do have to put my foot on the dolly and a hand on the motorcycle and push that way, just to make sure the bike doesn't slip off the back. So would I rather pay $200 or $300 more each for one that rolls a little bit more effortlessly? No, I wouldn't. And if you're like me and you have a few bikes and you don't want to drop $1,000 on some dollies that roll easily, and you want to put a little bit of elbow grease into moving them, then I recommend these Pittsburgh ones for $100. I do include some of the more high-end motorcycle dollies in my Amazon storefront. I don't have the Pittsburgh ones because frankly they're cheaper to buy on the Pittsburgh site themselves. But if you're interested in some of the more premium ones, then check out my storefront. Alright guys, always remember the motto, always be kinder than necessary, and I will see you in the next one.